And we're back. Let's go. Moneyline Monaco podcast recording live on a Friday, fresh off of ESPN New York. Bart and Han, I got my 5 best bets. We are off a Gryffindor Hogwarts 4-0 clean sweep on a Thursday night. Actually had an insane week as far as deliverables. Obviously, not your average week, yada, yada. Missed a couple of pods, first time all season. Still got the picks up, didn't get the analysis. Trust me, got enough guilt on both sides of my family for missing that. But if you do follow me at Moneyline Monaco on Insta across all social, or at Alex _, who has that? No one but me on Twitter, Monaco, you would see the bets from Monday and Thursday, 3-1 and 4-0 on Monday and Thursday. That's 7-1 in the last 8 picks. But again, betting all about what we do next, baby. NFL Week 10. Are we at the Larry David midpoint? Great curb question. Ton of thoughts here. Mid-season form. I encourage you to check out my show on MSG Networks, The Better Half Hour. Gave a takeout. I threw it up on my Twitter of value bets at around, again, mid-season-ish. Still have the Jets, as you see behind me, this way. All in for me on the New York Jets. They make my best 5. We'll talk out them at Arizona this week. Can still get them at around plus 390. And an interesting spot for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who have to dance against McCaffrey coming back this year, and really a locked and loaded, awful bye Niners offense, healthiest they've been in months. However, after the Niners game, the Bucs have the easiest strength of schedule in the entire NFL. Cupcake here, layup there. They're worth the thought to make the playoffs right now, depending where you shop. You're already getting over 2-1 on the Bucs. No Godwin, no Evans. Again, huge buy low spot. A lot of people won't get in the trenches on looking out favorable spots for the Bucs after this week. Just want to make mention of that. My 2 favorite value bets for teams on the outside looking in to make the playoffs, one AFC, one NFC, is the New York Jets and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And we get into the program. All kinds of value on the board. And for once, we are on more sharp sides than we are on public sides. Let's dive in here. 5 picks. Might as well go in chronological Bundesliga order here. Who scores more points? VfB Stuttgart versus Eintracht Frankfurt on a Sunday German Bundesliga morning, or the Panthers versus the G-Men on Sunday in Munich? Set your alarms or snooze it. Call a relative, work on the hamstrings, read 10 pages, pick your poison. I'm diving into this game head first, and I'll be brief because nobody's watching it unless you're betting it. Giants look to go 4-0 in Europe, one of just 6 teams to remain undefeated overseas. I don't know why. The New York Football Giants play overseas very well. 3 London town W's. Also, a top team when it comes to heading into the bye. 1990 on. Just general trend here. Giants 23-12 on most occasions heading into a bye. Straight up more profitable than not. Gotta like that. On another thought, betting trend, whatever you want to call it, this is an interesting moment where we have road favorites, and we're going to fade a couple and we're going to back a couple in this slate, but road favorites have been an unbelievable cash. I mean, it's hard to sit here and really understand why this continues in the betting world to pay out, but we're at the best against the spread number here through this point in the season of road favorites in particular than the history of all previous NFL seasons. There's 16 games above 500 against the spread, road favorites. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's unbelievable. And the last 5 weeks, favorites are 46-29-1 against the spread. So how are we looking at this game? We got the 9th best pass D, and we got the number 1 35 sack D laying 6.5 in the New York Football Giants. But you're also, are you buying low, selling high? I don't know if you can with 2-win clubs, but you're getting, again, a Panthers team off a win where they're a 7.5-point home dog against the Saints. And we'll see it. Dennis Allen out the late Uncle Phil Jazz window, never to return, no longer with the visor, a head coach in this league. He's just not head coaching material. So you sit here and you go, all right, Giants off an embarrassing L, couple of L's. Commanders, then you sit there, you get routed by Saquon. You can't even do that leap in Madden. It's just a really low moment for the Giants. But this is an excellent bounce back spot. Couple of trains of thought, one being serviceable D, absolutely. And a defense and a front seven led by Dexter Lawrence, who's all dog, and they get to the quarterback. 35 sacks. You didn't get a sack last week, and you still lead the league. You still lead the league in sacks. That's the highest total for Giants football in 9 games since they had 40 in 1985. It's just a shame that Woody from Toy Story is under center. But the reality is, without going too far into this game, you have a defense in Carolina that gives up 32.6. It's a league worst. You have a rush D in Carolina that's given up 159, league worst. You have a bottom 8 pass D. All right. This is a Giants team, and you look at the splits, that's getting only the money and not a lot of the tickets, because the public's going to look at this and go, you're giving me 6.5 points against the New York Giants? They just beat the Saints? No. I'm telling you right now, the tickets are on the Panthers. The money's on the Giants. It's huge diagonal discretion when all I do is read graphs, baby. So Tyrone Tracy, who leads the Giants and is fourth, believe it or not, among NFL rookies with 558 scrimmage yards, it's got to be in a good spot here against a lackluster, not that physical front seven in Carolina. So to me, again, getting a team off a really all-time L in a great spot where the sharps are on our side and we're going against the worst NFL defense in the league, bar none, flat out. This is a great game for neighbors. Again, Danny Dimes, 2 sample sizes against the Panthers, no interceptions. Take that how you will. I'll back a team a little more buttoned up on the sharp side, reading the splits. Not really feeling great, period, about just week to week laying 6.5 because it hasn't been kind to the better all season. But we got to do what we got to do, baby. Road favorites, best ever through 9 weeks. The New York Football Giants, -6.5. All right. Let's take a break from New York. Let's go all the way over to Washington from Germany. We're going to go nonstop Delta Airlines, economy comfort, economy plus, everything but first class, because the Pittsburgh Steelers don't play anything but blue-collar football, baby. And we're taking a Mike Tomlin 3-point team. Yes, public side. We'll tell you what side we're on public, what side we're on sharps. We're on a public dog. We're taking the Pittsburgh Steelers +3 at the FanDuel Sportsbook right here, right now, and I got to do it. And I don't like it. I actually love it. I actually sit here and say to myself, this is a team, got interrupted here on a little call, that flat out lives for this spot. Couple of trains of thought from just trends. Mike Tomlin's the best in the league over the last 20 years as a underdog coach covering the spread. Let me say it again. The best coach in the history of the NFL in 20 years of football when he's getting points. You take that, you couple it with Tomlin's 22-6 straight up against rookie quarterbacks, and you got Jaden Daniels 5-0 as a favorite ATS in this spot. No rookie quarterback has gone more than 5-0, 5 straight favorite covers since the year 2000. So look, there's not a lot that this Washington offense does poorly. They don't get inside the 20 into the end zone. I don't know how to explain it to you, but this is not a good red zone offense. It's hard to sit here and say they're bottom 5. They're 26th in the NFL at 51.22% at getting a touchdown when they're inside the 20. You don't want to do that against a Pittsburgh defense that's turning people over with a TJ Watt Rekka game plan from the outside, any given Pacino Sunday type club. Look, the Steelers are behind only the Lions and the Bills at +10 in turnover differential. Russ has been taking excellent care of the football. So we're sitting here going, all right, Chargers off of defense and turnovers, really only the Chargers only ahead of the Pittsburgh Steelers in a couple of these key categories. I mean, second in points allowed, 9th in yards allowed, first in opponent red zone touchdown percentage. First. So 26th versus first in that particular element. They're also fourth best in rush yards allowed. Okay, little bit lackluster in the pasty, 21st, but they also have the third best interception rate. So you're just going to put, again, Tomlin schemed coach up D, this Pittsburgh defense in favorable spots to try to make Jaden Daniels improvise at a prolific rate. And I know he's excellent at improvising, and that's one of those things. You can script this, but once he starts getting outside the pocket and moving that well above 6 foot frame, it's a lot different than Kyler Murray rocking back there. All I got to say is we're sitting here right now with Russell Wilson in both of his games. I mean, 260 plus, 3 tutties, 0 INTs, 111 QBR. He's thrown less than 30. When he throws less than 30 pass attempts over the last 2 years, which is absolutely conducive to Pittsburgh Steelers football, baby, he's 8-2. All they got to do is stick to the script. Let the rookie show up in a rare spot where he doesn't look superb. Do I dare say look ahead spot with the Baltimore Ravens looming, baby? The Eagles. I just have to sit here and say there is no way I am going to not lose money if we lose money on the Pittsburgh Steelers side of this particular bet. I'll go down with the public. Steelers +3. We're Team UPS, baby. We're going to FedEx and with the others. All right, let's keep it pushing. Next game, interesting spot here for the Denver Broncos and the Kansas City untouchable in the win column Chiefs. Now, we love this spot from a betting perspective. There's not one, there's not two, there's 3 betting things in play here, all on our side. And again, you're going to sit here till you're me and try to convince yourself out loud that this Broncos team is going to beat or cover this number against Kansas City and Mahomes. Just read the numbers. And the numbers are this. Reality, team off a 20-plus point L coming back the following week is on the right side of 55% over the last decade against the spread covering. Now we're talking about also a short work week, Monday Night Football dance for the Chiefs, off an overtime game. So short work week, Monday, dancing on a Sunday, overtime also, not a favorable spot if you want to back Kansas City. That's less than what we just mentioned as far as against the spread. Thirdly, you have Mahomes at laying well more than 3.5, who continues to be under 50% against the spread. Do I dare add on the cherry on top, a Sunday on a Sunday, the fact that this is a divisional dance and it's a 7.5-point line? How many times have we seen this movie before where the Chiefs win, but they don't cover? It's just too many times around the block. And we sit here and we say, are the Kansas City Chiefs really still who we think they are? Because again, Denver's a 5-3 against the spread club. Now, you win against Tampa, you don't cover a 9.5 number. Vegas with obviously the 27-20, right on Vegas, pun intended, right on that number. That was on the road. Very fair number. And you also look back and you think, okay, 7-point line at SoFi, the home road game, because of course it's a sea of red over there in the LA Chargers, former San Diego Charger fan lane, where it's never not 55-45 as far as fans. But the reality is Vegas has been very on point with AFC West caps as far as Chiefs first to 3. You got to remember that Patty wins and dominates the AFC West, but he does have trouble against Denver as far as covering, and he does have trouble against the Raiders as far as covering. And you sit here and you go, all right, 1-1 last year, straight up against Denver. 59 QBR in one of those games, 2 Costco samples, 1 touchdown, 4 interceptions. So we sit here and we go, the guy's turning the ball over more than he's protecting the ball. He's got 1 300-plus yard outing. There's a top 6 pasty in Denver, coached up by Vance Joseph. They do a lot scheme-wise to make it very difficult to move the football on him, except for last week in Baltimore. And we were on the wrong side. Not easy to be wrong on a team come back for more punishment. Denver hadn't lost by 7 all season. All season. That was Baltimore off the Jameis contacts, Kurt Rambis goggles game. And my goodness, did they come back and beat the brakes off the Broncos. And I did tell you on the program that Denver had to hang in that first half, and that was our only shot. And they gave up a joke of a first half last touchdown down the last few minutes, and we were cooked. We were cooked. Here's the thing. It's Denver in a spot where they got annihilated and embarrassed. You got to expect this is Sean Payton coaching, a lot of pride. And we're just getting, without going again repetitive, a great 1, 2, 3 spot in a betting situation. And I'm looking at the splits, and you can't sit here and feel like you're on any kind of a bad spot here, knowing that most people are going to still back Kansas City. 57% of the tickets on -7.5, 53% of the money on Denver. Not to mention, this was a line that opened at 9.5, bet down to 7.5. Obviously, on the look ahead line from last week. Something to consider. Give me the Denver Broncos with the key number of over 7.5. All right. We wrap it up with 2 box office matchups. All right. This is not fun. I don't enjoy it. We have made a lot of money for you on the Detroit Lions. We have cashed the Detroit Lions 3 of the last 4 weeks. We begged you to take them on the road at Dallas, Jerry's World, -3. We told you last week -2.5 against the Green Bay Packers. What do the Packers do well that the Lions do better? Told you to swallow the 2.5, public side, right side, cash the ticket. Also took in the high school cafeteria game. If you watch either me on Better Half on MSG Networks or me on Friday on Bart and Hahn, all in on the hierarchy NFC North games, both Green Bay and Minnesota. So we've cashed for you 3 of the last 4 weeks, and we're going to make a bowling reference here, but you got to put up the bumpers occasionally in betting, and you got to bob and you got to weave. And we're talking about also on the program a Texans L, which we were on the Jets. So now we have both sides, both teams, great energy, great San Diego juju coming into this one. Don't have to look at this any kind of emotional, just all straight numbers. And we got the world on Detroit and not a lot of people on the Houston Texans. Primetime Sunday night game, 3.5 or 4, depending where you shop. I got 3.5. I will take, I'll plug my schnoz, Houston Texans team at home off an L with the 3.5 against the hottest team in the NFL, not named the Chiefs, the Detroit Lions. Here's how we lay this out. Here's how we cap this game. This is the number 1 D in success rate allowed, 3rd on dropback, 6th in defending the run. Also, top 5 in pressure rate, 3rd against the pass. Am I talking about the Lions? We're talking about the Texans, baby. They get to the quarterback, they stop the run serviceably, and they're very stingly on the outside. Couple of boys coached up. D'Amico's a defensive-minded coach. Solid and fundamentally solid on the defensive side. They get to the quarterback. And when you make it difficult in Jared Goff's JG16 dome, cozy, non-weather factor world, it's not the same. And I know this is a top-tier Detroit offense. There's not much to negatively say. This is just a sell high, buy low again, betting spot where we're getting the Texans off 10 days where they gave up 21 points in the second half against the Jets on Natty TV, and we're embarrassed. Also got to look at the offensive side for CJ Stroud and the boys. Just when I told you last week, everything Jordan Love's doing, CJ doesn't do. CJ doesn't turn the ball over. The Texans don't turn the ball over. They're +4 and 6th in the league at turnover differential, and it's largely because CJ protects the rock. Jordan Love led the league in interceptions going into last week with 9. What happened in the second quarter that was ultimately the game? To Kirby, pick 6, hi, how are you? Wrap you up to go, take the leftovers home. That's not what Houston's going to do in this spot. They're going to protect the ball. Also, Houston off a loss under Stroud. One time, they have dropped 2 games in the entire career of Mr. Coleridge, Stroud, the 4th. One time, it was the first 2 weeks of the NFL season at Baltimore hosting the Colts. It's not an easy start. He has dropped 2 games in a row one time, and we're getting points. Also, you look at the Lions, early down success rate, 4th in the NFL. Well, guess who's 2nd on D in early success rate? The Houston Texans. So what are we saying? There's going to be potentially a lot more 3rd and 6 and mores for this Detroit Lions team than they've seen in the last month plus. They're untouchable in the last month. But this is, to me, again, the second side for the Detroit Lions of a road back-to-back. Second road back-to-back. Interconference dance. They had to have the NFC North hierarchy game last week. They don't have to have this game. The Houston Texans, 10 days to prep, at home, prime time, who, oh, by the way, got Nico Collins likely back, which is paramount. I got to say, with over 80% of what I'm seeing tickets on the Lions, we'll take the sharp side. We'll be on Vegas' side for this one. I don't feel good about it. And if it comes down to 3 and it gets down to 3, it tells you all you need to know. Money coming in on the Houston Texans as we creep closer to Sunday Night Football. Give me H-Town with the 3.5. And we wrap up with an emotional purchase. And I'm telling you, I'm on them, and you see them behind me on the Woody Page whiteboard, and I'm taking them, and I'm going down with them. And it's 1.5. You can take them on the money line if you like. Give me all of the jet up New York Jets on the road. I don't like it. I absolutely love it. Oh, my gosh. Arizona's going to win 4 straight games? Say it out loud. Arizona's going to win a month of football? Arizona was over with by halftime against Washington, over with against Green Bay by halftime. You have to remind yourself it's a dysfunctional franchise post Larry Fitz. They do not sit there and play consistent football. Now, this year, they look better. This year, James Conner's not getting enough credit. This year, Kyler Murray is starting to protect the rock a little better. But the reality is with Hassan Reddick on this front line and a finally locker room trending in the right direction, you just got to love the Jets. I mean, this team looks a lot better after last week all the way across the board. They're 10th. They're top 10 in the league in points allowed. They're 4th in overall yards allowed. They're the best in the NFL at 4.6 yards per play. They're top 5 in nearly every passing category. Completion percentage, yards per pass, pass per game. How about sack rate? They're 3rd behind the Giants in sacks. 14 players with at least half a sack on this team. I'm telling you, Kyler Murray's going to run around like a joystick, and there's going to be nowhere to throw to. It's a top-tier pass defense. Rejuvenate. This is the State Farm and Jake Can't Save Him place that Aaron Rodgers threw a Hail Murray to Jeff Janis. I'm telling you, this Jets team is going to go on a ride, and I'm the only one outside of maybe Greeny that sat there and said at plus 590 before the Texans that this team could go anywhere. Look, they beat themselves in every conceivable reason you could possibly draw up. And Greg the Leg is cooked them. This is not an under 500 team by any means. You're getting a virtual pick 'em now. You want to fade me emotionally? Go ahead. This will be the 3rd time I lose in a less than 2-point spread at State Farm. And if it's not even Thanksgiving, that hurts because we took the Rams at State Farm, 1.5-point line. We took the Chargers, Natty TV. I didn't understand the line. I'm sick about it. We lose the game. Look, Aaron Rodgers turned a leaf. You want to say that Garrett Wilson, Jumpman Jordan logo catch was luck? You want to say this team got fortunate that Will Anderson, Eddie Anderson's got tickets to the game, goes out, misses the second half, night and day Houston Texans D from the other night? Go ahead and do that. The reality is you're going to back the Arizona Cardinals to win their 4th straight game and their 5th and 6th weeks. It ain't going to happen, baby. You get on the Jets PJ with me, and we ride all the way to the cul-de-sac 39, father of 3, Joe Flacco, for another smack you around W for the New York Jets next week. I'm telling you right now, all you got to do is swallow 1.5 points. Take the money line if you're minus 125, 1-2. Don't worry about the 1-point spread. The Jets are winning this game. They're winning it in convincing fashion, and they're going to just punish the Arizona Cardinals. Does it sound like I'm emotional? Look, Aaron Rodgers, to just end the soliloquy, if you haven't caught any of my other shows, he asked a 40-year-old man to start his NFL season, Goodell, 3 games in 11 days, road back-to-back at Monday night, San Fran. Then you turn around, you got to go to Nashville for no concert week 2 and deal with mayonnaise. Not fun. Then you're asking a 40-year-old to go overseas to London to dance against an undefeated Minnesota team. The Jets have already had 2 road back-to-backs. They've already gone across the pond. They've already played 3 games in 11 days, and they're still in it. They're still in the mix. Look at the AFC wildcard race. Is it something to be scared about? No. It looks like a lot of out-of-shape people dancing in the New York City Marathon. Just kidding. It's a great value bet, period. Plus 390 to make a run at the tournament. Aaron Rodgers' best record in every month, oh, by the way, is December. Guy turned it over more than he's ever turned it over in the first 6 weeks of the NFL. It's out of his system. All right? So get on the ayahuasca train and join me at a theater near you. Jet up, baby. All right. Jets minus 1.5. G-Men minus 6.5. We got the Steelers plus 3. We got the Houston Texans fading the Lion Witch in the Wardrobe, Danny Campbell boys. Texans plus 3.5. And we're going with the Denver Broncos plus 7.5. This might be a 5-0 show. It just might be a 5-0 show. We trimmed the hair, fresh haircut. We're humble again. We went from 6'3" to 5'10.5. Fro is now on camera. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, review. Goes a long way. Appreciate you very much. It's the Moneyline Monaco show. We will see you next week. Don't forget to hug your mothers. Ta-ta, real smooth.